Alright, hello everyone, welcome back. Today we got a whole new Boruto chapter. We're ready to get into it. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Let's not delay any further. We got chapter 23, which is a chapter cover with Jura. Pretty cool cover in all honesty. I like the green. The color of green is really nice. Jura's pose is a little weird. I don't know what I think it's like. I don't know, it's a weird pose. He's like got his hand on his hip, but he's like doing like it's like he's going into a squat and he's looking up at the same time. I don't know, it's a very weird pose, but I don't think the cover looks bad because of it. It's just interesting choice, but I don't hate it, you know. Overall, I think the art's pretty good. Like I said, color green, super good. I think this all complements each other pretty well color-wise. Just the pose is a little like, why? But moving on from that, let's go ahead and get into the chapter. So we pick up where we left off. Konohamaru has met up with Mitsuki, and Mitsuki has taken out all of the remaining claw grimes from Ryu with Sage Mode. So that's cool to see. So Konohamaru shows up, and he asks him, like, basically what's happened, if he's okay. Mitsuki gives him a quick update. Arya managed to take Ryu's thorn bulb, and he's heading straight towards the tree holding Shinki in order to get Shinki out of the tree. And he also took Yodo with him. They do mention that they feel bad about what happened to Yodo, but that she'll be happy that because of that they managed to acquire the thorn bulbs. So to me, this seems like confirmation that Yodo is in fact dead. Like, there's still a chance that they turn this around and she just ends up being seriously injured, or maybe like forced to retire as a shinobi. But I don't know. To me, this seems like confirmation that Yodo is indeed dead. So we have Arya heading to save Shinki, which hopefully does end up happening if he's already on his way there, but who knows. Konohamaru tells him that the mission is not over yet because of Jura. And Mitsuki says, I saw Jura fly towards where you were with Matsuri, and he didn't even take a look at us. And Konohamaru explains what happens on how he was about to be killed by Matsuri, but that Boruto showed up, and because of that, Jura seems to be focused on killing Boruto rather than retrieving the thorn bulbs of Matsuri and Ryu. Mitsuki makes a very interesting choice here in that he wants to go help Boruto to take down Jura. And Konohamaru refuses his request, saying that right now they have to focus on the thorn bulbs, and that Boruto wants this to happen because he's the one keeping Jura distracted, that way they can escape. He tells Mitsuki that their plan is to head to where they met with Yodo and Arya at first, and that this is what Boruto instructed them to do. And he says he believes him because he thinks he has his plan. He thinks that Boruto has a plan here, so that's why he's willing to trust him here. We then cut back to Boruto and Jura. Boruto holding at his side. He does say that this injury he has missed anything vital, but the wound is really deep, which is causing him more damage than he thought at first. Jura then proceeds to try to snipe him out with a tailed beast bomb. Boruto proceeds to dodge it using the teleportation technique, and Jura says that it's obvious that any moves that he makes that take a lot of time to prepare, such as the tailed beast bomb, is giving Boruto too much of a chance to escape or make a move to get out of the way. So Jura begins to wonder whether or not sniping Boruto from a distance is better, or being up close and just trying to blast him away immediately would be better. Jura then proceeds to fly straight at Boruto, casting another tailed beast bomb. Boruto dodges this one, and then Jura proceeds to send out even more. As you can see here on this panel right here, Jura is just blasting, spamming these out. Boruto then proceeds to throw a kunai at him. And with this kunai, he teleports next to him and tries to slash him with the sword, but Jura manages to deflect it using his hand with that one like bladed finger that he has. This manages to knock Boruto's sword out of his hand, and then Jura goes for the kill shot with his bladed finger, going for the stab. Boruto teleports to the sword using the teleportation technique, grabs it and manages to almost slice, or no, he does slice Jura here. He manages to slice Jura's left foot completely off. As you can see here, he slices that thing clean off. Honestly, it's more than the foot. It's like up past the ankle too. So pretty good shot by Boruto. Unfortunately not a kill shot, but regardless, a good attack. Jura even commends him on this, and then they proceed to clash in the air using the sword and the hands. They continue to clash, and Jura is slowly outmatching him in terms of strength, and Boruto's recognizing this. Whoops, I accidentally... My bad. I accidentally backed out of the page. Where were we? Right here. So as Boruto's realizing that he's getting outmatched strength-wise, Jura manages to grab him directly by the arm, pulls him in close, and proceeds to prepare a tailed beast bomb. Boruto, noticing this, does a hand sign and unleashes purple lightning directly on Jura, causing Jura to be shocked and taken aback. Jura lets go of Boruto, giving him a chance to back up. But Boruto is very tired. He's starting to breathe heavily, and Jura picks up on this, saying that he's gotten quite sluggish, Otosuki Boruto. Jura then proceeds to notice that it might actually be faster to just beat Boruto to death rather than trying to snipe him out with a tailed beast bomb. We cut back to Konohamaru and Mitsuki. They've made it back to the spot where they met Arya and Yodo. Mitsuki is wondering why they have to be here, and Konohamaru says he has no idea why, but they're there regardless. So now they wait. We cut back to Jura and Boruto, and Jura is picking up the offense as he proceeds to fly directly at Boruto and knee him right in the face, and then punches him right in the gut, straight into the ground. Jura then proceeds to fly back up, completely ignoring what he just said about clobbering Boruto instead of trying to snipe him out, and unleashes another tailed beast bomb directly at Boruto while he's on the ground. Boruto picks up on this and manages to fly up and out of the explosion. As he does this, Jura comes up behind him and goes for an attack, but Boruto manages to block it with the sword. Unfortunately, because of this, Boruto does end up leaving a big chip in the sword. And remember, this is Sasuke's sword, so kind of sad to see that Boruto's trying his best to survive here. And because of that, he's having to sacrifice his sword. It's already, like, if you look at the panel right here, that's a pretty big chip. That's almost halfway through the blade. So it's looking like this blade is not going to be surviving for much longer. I mean, maybe it leads to Boruto getting his own sword instead of using Sasuke's in the future. I don't know. But I do think it's quite significant that Jura managed to chip Sasuke's blade. And Boruto, while he's distracted by the chip in the blade, gets kicked down by Jura back into the ground. And with this, it seems like Boruto is knocked unconscious. We then cut back to Ada and Koji, and Ada's telling Koji that she's sorry, but she can't watch anymore because she believes at this rate Boruto will end up dying. Koji stays silent, and this annoys Ada, and she asks Koji, "Hey, are you listening? Would you say something, please?" And Koji tells Ada to be quiet for a little bit, that he's getting an update. This confuses Ada because she doesn't know what he means by this, and then all of a sudden, we see Koji's eyes roll into the back of his head, and once again, his ability takes over as he starts to see the film rolls all around him, showing him new possibilities. So as you can see, the film rolls start to develop around him, showing blanks at first, but then we start to see new things here, as we see Himawari, Boruto knocked unconscious, Jura holding his eye for some reason, and then... what is this here? I can't really tell what exactly this is above Jura. It kind of looks like Inojin with the hairstyle. And in the background, it looks like the Orochimaru hideouts. It even looks like it might be the hideout that Koji and Boruto were in during this during this arc. So is Inojin possibly hiding in one of the hideouts to recover? Or maybe he eventually shows up in one of the hideouts when they're looking for Boruto and Koji? And when I mean them, I mean like the Hidden Leaf Village? Or is this possibly something else? I don't know, but that's what it looks like to me. It looks like Inojin is inside an Orochimaru hideout. But that's not what catches Koji's eye. What catches Koji's eye is that Jura seems to be hurt, holding his head, and this confuses Koji greatly. Ada continues to ask him, hey, what's going on? What is it that you're seeing? We then cut back to Jura and Boruto. And Jura is impressed that Boruto is still breathing, that he's tougher than what he thinks, and that he's even shocked that while unconscious, he still holds on to his sword. And then, out of respect for Boruto, Jura flies into the air claiming that he will kill him with one single blow in a clean, satisfying way, as a form of respect. But as he does this, we get quite a surprise on the next page as we see Jura have a pole stabbed through his right eye, the eye that he was holding in Koji's new film or future update. And we see someone standing on the back of Jura with sticking the pole through his eyes. It is in fact Kawaki. And this panel is just gruesome. I mean, look at that. Jura just got that stabbed straight through him. But this seems like it doesn't even affect him as he just slowly looks back and sees that Kawaki is standing on top of him. And Kawaki makes the remark that Jura truly is a monster if even a staff through the eye was not enough to kill him. And this surprises Ada that Kawaki is actually there. And Ada proceeds to ask Koji what is going on. And Koji continues to look at the film rolls, and he's noticing that this is the first time he's gotten new visions for the first time in about 6 days. And these are completely different than what he's seen before, because he's never saw a future of this scenario where Kawaki gets involved. And he realizes that Boruto must have done this, that during the past couple of days, Boruto must have done something to set the event of Kawaki showing up to help him here. We then cut back to Konohamaru and Mitsuki, and they continue to wonder why Boruto chose this location. Mitsuki proceeds to look around, and Konohamaru asks him what exactly is he looking for. And Mitsuki says that he's wondering if maybe Boruto stashed one of his symbols here, as a way to get back here quickly. But before they can continue to look, Delta shows up above them. She commentates that all three of them, Mitsuki, Konohamaru, and Sarada, seem to still be intact and alive. These two are surprised that Delta is here, but it's very obvious, to us at least, the readers, that Delta came here with Kawaki. So maybe the plan was for Kawaki to show up and help Boruto, because Boruto knew Jura would show up here, and Delta was going to help the rest of them escape quickly before they get caught up in the fight, or if Jura tries to chase after them while he's trying to fight Kawaki and Boruto. We cut back to Kawaki and Jura. Jura tries to take a swipe at Kawaki, but Kawaki shrinks himself, appears again, and then proceeds to throw even more of those staffs through Jura. And he gets quite a few. He gets like 3 or 4 of them directly into Jura's body. We got this one down here in the abdomen. We got another one on the side. One looks to be in his leg. One around his collarbone area. It looks like there's one on the other shoulder as well. He gets him quite a few times here. But of course, Jura is a monster, so this isn't enough to kill him. But he is slowing him down. Jura then proceeds to try to shoot a tailed beast bomb at Kawaki. So Jura's just really depending on these tailed beast bombs to take these guys out. Kawaki manages to dodge it, and Boruto's finally starting to wake up. Kawaki appears before Boruto and it tells him, hey, idiot, wake up already. And Boruto takes offense to this, telling him that he's the one who's late here. And Jura is confused about why Kawaki is here, and he's also confused because Kawaki seems to be much more powerful than the last time they met. And if you remember, that's because of what Amato did, because Boruto told Kawaki about his limiters. Kawaki went to go confront Amato and get him to switch his limiters off, or change his powers to be less defensive and more focused on the offensive end. Kawaki then proceeds to tell Boruto that he better keep it together because if he goes crazy here, he's gonna kill him. And while he's saying this, we see that Kawaki's karma is starting to creep up around his neck as he starts to activate it. Boruto proceeds to grab his arm and says, "Just ignore me and do what you have to do." Jura then proceeds to fly directly at Kawaki, and Kawaki states to him, "Let's go then, you bastard," with the karma fully activated. And this is where we leave off with this chapter. So overall, very good chapter, and it leaves us at a very interesting point in the story, because we get the one situation that we thought Boruto would want to avoid at all costs possible, which is resonating his karma with Kawaki. And it seems like it is going to happen, because Boruto seems to grab at his arm, hoping to maybe stop it, or maybe have it not pick up on the resonance. Maybe just something here to stop it. Well, so that way Kawaki can go and fully use his powers. But yeah, I think at this point it's guaranteed, or maybe not guaranteed that we'll see Boroshiki, but I think it's guaranteed that we see Momoshiki, or at least get some mention of him in these upcoming chapters. And maybe not be the next one, but if Kawaki's activating his karma right next to Boruto, and the last time this happened, Boruto had to book it out of there immediately, the fact that Boruto is now kind of stuck here in this area while this is happening, I think it's safe to say that we're going to at least get a mention of Momoshiki. I'm not sure if we're going to see Boroshiki, but we're definitely going to get some kind of mention here in the next upcoming chapters. Very interesting to see. We were predicting that Kawaki is going to show up for a few chapters now, so we're not surprised by that. I am surprised by how much he was able to do to Jura, though, by stabbing him with all the pulls multiple times, even getting the jump on him by appearing behind him and stabbing him through the eye. So it seems like Kawaki here has powered up greatly compared to what we've seen in the previous chapters. And he might even be on the level, if not past Boruto's level at this point, with all of his powers reworked from being defensive to offensive. As I mentioned earlier, it was limiters, but I don't think it was limiters that he had on him. I think it was just more of what his powers are focused to. The Mata wanted to make sure he couldn't die, or had the least amount of chance of dying, to preserve his daughter. So now more of his powers are focused on the offensive end instead of focusing on defending himself. No, overall, very good chapter. Very good. I liked it. It's cool to see that Boruto is able to do stuff without Koji's knowing, which is what led to this whole situation and why he felt fine to jump in, because Boruto kind of had an idea, or was hoping on Kawaki showing up here, which is what happened. It's interesting, though, that Koji can't control when he gets his predictions. I'm pretty sure they mentioned that before, but yes, very interesting that such a huge change like Kawaki showing up here didn't show up in his ability, or cause him to have this moment of seeing the future like it did here, until he saw that until it was basically the event was already happening. So yeah, Koji's power, while it is powerful, it is unreliable, because he has to wait to see the future whenever it decides to show up for him. It's not something it seems he's able to force out himself. But it's very interesting to see what else he has seen, like that one little film in the very back, where what I'm presuming is Inogen inside an Orochimaru hideout. And then who knows why Himawari showed up in his film role as well. So very interesting to see where those might lead up to. I don't think Himawari is going to be showing up here. Inogen, maybe the Leaf Village managed to track down Koji while this is happening. Maybe that's what that's referencing, or maybe that's something way off in the future, or it's something that doesn't even happen. Because we do have to keep in mind some of the stuff that Koji sees might not even happen. So who knows? I'm not going to put too much stock into those two film roles that we haven't seen yet, the Inogen one and the Himawari one, because who knows what might end up happening with those. And they're not too specific or anything, especially the Himawari one. The Himawari one, as we can see here on the bottom panel, it's just her against the white background, so there's not much to deduce from there. The Inogen one does have at least like a hideout, or like the rocks in the background, so you can at least kind of tell where he's at. But yeah, these things might not even come to pass, so I'm not going to take too much stock into them for now. I am a little worried, or not worried, but I am a little sad by Sasuke's sword getting shipped like that. I do feel like this is going to end up leading into maybe Boruto getting a sword of his own that isn't Sasuke's due to the chip. Because maybe in the next chapter or two, when Boruto starts to help Kawaki fight, maybe the sword ends up breaking completely. But hell, for all we know, if Boroshiki does come out, maybe Boroshiki ends up breaking the sword. Just completely breaking it in half where that chip was, just to try to destroy Boruto's will, you know? Or just to punish Boruto. But no, really good chapter, really good fighting. Little interesting that Jura was saying about how he needs to stay away from using the tailed beast bombs and just attack Boruto, and then he proceeds to use another tailed beast bomb directly on him, even though he had him on the ground already. But it did lead to him, like, clobbering him back into the ground again. So, I mean, it works out. Plus, I think Jura does have a bit of an ego issue in terms of thinking that he can't be top, which I think will end up causing him some issues here, especially in the next coming chapters. That he thinks that Kawaki and Boruto still can't, you know, stand up to him. But then it ends up turning out that those two together can actually end up killing Jura. So he ends up having to retreat or something. Or maybe Boroshiki comes out and it gives Jura a chance to retreat. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I definitely do think Jura is going to end up having to retreat out of fear of possibly being taken down here. I do think we're going to see a little bit of weakness from Jura upcoming in the chapters, and that the main threat is going to end up being Boruto having to keep his karma under control. I do wonder if we're going to see Boruto even try to fight with the karma, or if he's going to make sure it doesn't activate while Kawaki's fighting, and then he'll join in. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I like the way the karma looks while Kawaki and Boruto are using it during fights. I think it's a cool design, but obviously Boruto having his on is a huge issue. So yeah, overall very excited. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the next chapter. I'm gonna go ahead and give this chapter like a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I'll go 8 out of 10. I think the art was really good. I know last chapter I was having some issues with some of the art, and I feel like a lot of my issues were fixed. At least I didn't notice any weird drawings in this one, or drawings where I'm just like, that doesn't really look all that great. I didn't really notice it during this chapter, so glad to see some of my complaints were handled or didn't end up becoming a major recurring thing. But yeah, let me know down below what you guys thought of this chapter, what you think will happen next chapter. In terms of the wild card prediction, wild card, we see Boruto willing to use his karma. I think that's going to be my wild card prediction. I think Boruto, once the karma activates and he recognizes that it's not going out of control, or he's able to keep a handle on it, he's going to actually use it to fight rather than trying to avoid it. I think that'll be my wild card prediction, but I do think the way he's going to go about it here is either not join the fight in fear of his karma activating, or he's going to wait until he makes sure he can keep it under control before helping Kawaki. I think Kawaki would be the only one who really uses his karma here. But yeah, I feel like I've done 6 outros at this point, so I'm just going to go ahead and say I hope you have a good rest of your day / night. I hope you have a good time reading whatever manga you're reading right now, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.